English 190. This week, I hope you remember that we do not meet in person, but instead we have both your assignments online. Sad, I know. I will miss you too, but like my friend says, it could be worse. You could be at the bottom of a deep, dark hole full of water. I know he means well. That one's for free. This week, you have an assignment for Wednesday and an assignment for Friday. Both assignments require you turning something in online, so without further ado, let's look at the assignments. Our week 2. Your first assignment, due by the end of Wednesday, is Westwick and Nuschel's first chapter, The Cradle of Surfing. Understanding that most of you have not procured your textbook just yet, I've included the chapter here, though you really need to get on that as soon as possible, as I can't keep doing this. It is actually an infringement of copyright and a good way to land me in jail. And I'm way too delicate for jail, so please get a hold of your copy of the text. In the meantime, here's chapter 1. Following your reading of chapter 1, I have 3 questions for you that you can submit in a Word document. The first 2 are rather direct, asking, how did the persistent belief that missionaries suppressed surfing become crystallized? Where did we get this idea? Right? What was the idea behind the common belief that it was missionaries who killed off surfing and led to the suppression of this great esoteric and aesthetically pleasing and religiously important act? Why is it a myth? Second, explain the following quote: Caucasian colonizers did not kill off surfing through their missionary activity. White colonizers killed off surfing by killing the surfers. Sounds ominous, though upon reading the chapter, you'll discover it's not quite as sinister as it would appear. The last question takes a little more explanation. It takes a look at contemporary scholar P.E. Steinberg and his theory that there are 3 main images of ocean space in contemporary culture. The first is we view the ocean as an empty void to be annihilated by hypermobile capital. Google hypermobility if necessary. The second image is that of a resource space requiring sustainable development. And the last is as a source of consumable spectacles. In this case, consumable spectacles doesn't merely mean just for purchase. It means that we are able to consume it via our reading, our listening, our watching, right? Or even just an interest. The ocean becomes a setting for adventures. It becomes a social interaction, right? It's the place we return to with awe or to seek the universal or for escape, right? It's also a particular setting of actual consumable spectacles like harborside developments and tourist attractions. Taking examples from the chapter, detail the ways in which Westwick and Nuschel reinforce Steinberg's theory. In other words, how do they present these 3 views of the ocean space within their chapter? Pulling examples from their historiography of the surfing origin, tell me how they've done this. How do they show the ocean to be a hypermobility source of capital, a resource space for sustainable development, and a source of consumable spectacle, understanding that is all of these which make up consumable spectacle. Then you have to view a video entitled Crash Course in Surf History under the Week 2 module. It is located right there. Crash Course in Surf History. Click on it, it'll open it up. You can start viewing immediately, and then you'll be able to handle the last part of the assignment, which is thinking about the intended audience for the video, a YouTube video. What recurring patterns and articulation of surfing ethos do you see which are similar to Westwick and Nuschel? Which ones are absent? Both the surf history video and the first chapter of The Cradle of Surfing are dealing with origins of surfing and its history. As we entertain these ideas and interact with these ideas, we find that we begin to develop these recurring patterns and articulations of surfing ethos. So which ones are the same? Which ones are absent? Some of what is discussed in the video is not discussed in the chapter. Some of what's discussed in the chapter is not discussed in the video. Then last, how do these editorial choices, those which are included and those which were absent, as well as its presentation medium of a YouTube video in this case, contribute to the cultural hegemony of surfing? How do we reinforce these structures of power and or meaning about surfing and its ethos, right? Through these choices. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to email or ask, but that should take care of Wednesday. Notice it's due that on Wednesday by midnight, and it's open until the 23rd at midnight. If you're going to try and turn it in late, please don't. But it does stay open in case there's a problem with upload. Otherwise, that should take care of Wednesday. Let's take a look at Friday. Okay, for Friday, you have two excerpts to read. The first is from Captain Cook and his voyage to the Pacific, and the second is from London and the cruise of the Snark. If you go into the assignment, you'll see what it is that you have to do. I've given you both excerpts. Here's Captain Cook's, here's London's. Two parts. First, defend Cook's account as an example of the exotic picaresque, and London's account as an example of Bildungsroman. This will take your notes from last Friday to decide what exactly is the exotic picaresque and what is the Bildungsroman, and how do these two match up. Second, considering the language and style, metaphors, sentence style, descriptions, language use, ways of referring to things. How do these two works resonate with wanderlust, or the desire and want for travel, and the self-realization dimensions of modern surf culture? The idea that you are born anew, or this is adventurous, or this is escape, or this is something exotic and other. Right? In other words, what tropes and evocations associated with the Romantic movement in arts and philosophy, those ideas that we see in the poetry of the sea and the ocean, and the literature of the ocean post Shakespeare, 1750 to 1850, according to Corbin. Where do we see these tropes and evocations become apparent in these selections? What are some of the things that we see these guys writing about that become ensconced and ingrained in surf ethos? Second, from our current position in context in society, our current state of wokeness, right, as well as reading pages 31 through 38 of Westwick and Neuschel, right here, what additional facets of surfing archetypes and stereotypes can we read into these accounts? This is going to take a little more reading between the lines and consideration from you. Again, look at their language and their style, the metaphors they use, the descriptions they use, consider who they are, consider what their purpose was, and then in their recording of these accounts, how does that lead to incorporation, commodification, and cultural impacts of growth in the delineation of surfing? In this case, what do these guys add, London and Cook, what do they add or incorporate into surfing which might not have been present in its original native state? What has been adopted and re-strengthened as part of an ethos? And what do we see as the long-term effects of growth after how these two have engaged in this, right? And that becomes more apparent, that last part at least, in this reading right here. Once you've gotten those two, you've got everything you need, and then to be able to upload your answer right from here. That takes care of that. Let's look at the last assignment that you have for Friday, which is thankfully short and sweet. The last assignment deals with book club. If you click on it, it's simply a discussion post. Please post your book choice for our new book club by 11:59 on Friday. After that, the discussion board closes, I'll tally votes, and then I'll send an announcement via Canvas, check your email, as to which text or texts, if we have more than one, have been selected so that you may place your order. Please send your orders in by Sunday the 19th so that we can all get on the same page and get busy reading. I'll go through here and just tally up whichever your choices are yours, and then I'll let you know with that Canvas email. How do you know what choices? I'm so glad you ask. If you look under week 1, you'll find the cleverly titled Book Club Options, which contains the titles, authors, and annotations of each of the novels and or works available for book club. I've starred the ones that are our own personal favorites in case you want some recommendation, though there's enough there that I think you can have an idea of what each of these are about, and there's not a single bad one on the list. So if you want a little personal recommendation, those are starred. If you don't care and you just want to read and select for yourself, there you go. You got everything you need right there. All right, that about covers it for the week. Okay, that should get you through the week. I'm terribly sorry I can't be there, but life moves on. So, if you have questions as you encounter the readings or as you encounter the assignments, if you need more explanation, I would encourage you to do two things. First, find somebody in the class and ask them. See if they can't make heads or tails of it, and between the two of you, come up with a suitable answer. Second, send me an email. I won't be checking as regularly as I normally do, as I'm going to be in and out of meetings, but I will be checking it. So if there's a fire that I can put out, as difficult as that may be online, I will do so. If you have similar emails or similar questions, I might answer all of those in just one announcement on Canvas, so please check your emails. But otherwise, I will try to get back to you in as timely a fashion as possible, and I'll look forward to seeing you all your bright and happy faces on Monday. For Monday, you do have a selection to read. It's entitled Caught Inside, an excerpt from Caught Inside by Dan Duane. You'll see it there under week 3. It'll be Duane from Caught Inside. Give it a read and design a discussion question. And we will get started with that on Monday as we continue developing our definition of surfing ethos and what it means to be a surfer. All right, see you then.